After Silverstone 2 weeks ago, it's been another astonishing Grand Prix and another wonderful victory for Lewis Hamilton. But this time he had to force his way past Felipe Massa and Nelson Piquet in the closing stages. Hamilton wins from Piquet, who's on the podium for the first time. Massa should have been rather dispirited at being beaten into third, and then Heidfeld, Kovalainen, Raikkonen, Kubica and Vettel complete those point scorers. But most importantly, from Lewis's point of view, it now gives him the clear lead in the Drivers' Championship by 4 points from Massa. Raikkonen and Kubica losing ground. Nick Heidfeld gaining ground in 5th place. Mark Blundell, another astonishing... We're running out of superlatives when it comes to Lewis Hamilton, aren't we?
I think he has definitely gone up to a different level now, and I think it's all off the back of Silverstone. And I think in some ways, Steve, he just calmed down inside the cockpit, and now you're seeing Lewis just mature a little bit inside the car, and those kind of things that we saw today in terms of the overtaking, the pace, I mean outright pace from lap 1.
Yeah, and it was the safety car after the midpoint that gave us a chance to see so much more of Lewis's talents. It was a race he was in complete control of, it seemed, in the first half after a pretty good start.
It just looked like he was using cruise control, but at the start he got away very cleanly. I think there was a couple of little problems for some of the guys further down the grid, but you actually felt at this point Lewis was in complete control because he got off the start cleanly. Massa tried to pull into his way there, but just tucked in behind, and he pulled out over 1.5 seconds on lap 1. Look at the distance now between him and Massa. Kovalainen is trying to get by Massa, trying to make the most of getting in front of that Ferrari to help McLaren out. But on behind there, you just see going into the hairpin, a couple of little problems for a few of the guys. Toyota getting wide, Renault getting pushed out, Alonso there, one of the Williams creeping by. A little bit messy in the mid-pack.
He was in a class of his own. The car was in a class of its own as well. At one point, the lead was around about 11 seconds, and then Glock had this huge crash which brought out the safety car.
Well, this is the turning point of the race, really, caused by Glock's accident, and nothing to do with Glock at this point. Basically had a right rear suspension failure. As he just got onto the corner, the loaded car then just unloading with that suspension failure and flicking him into the wall. He hit the wall backwards, big impact. Just watch the car here, just flicks across the circuit. There's nothing Glock can do about that. He would have taken a very, very big impact, high G there, and I think it basically took the wind out of him. But again, safety car has to come out. Very much the turning point of the race today.
Safety car is never good when you're leading a race, but it put McLaren in a very difficult situation, didn't it?
It put them in a very difficult situation because at this stage they probably had 30-odd laps where Lewis would have been on the softer tyre. They obviously didn't have the confidence to leave him out for that long, so they chose to not put him in the pit when everybody else did.
He didn't quite make up the time they were wanting, so he came out behind Massa, behind Piquet, and what an exhibition he turned on.
Well, I mean, at this stage here, this is classic overtaking from Lewis Hamilton. I'm very, very surprised, actually, that Massa made the room. I think if Massa would have just stayed on line, he would have made it so much more difficult for Lewis. He'd have had to go the long way around and at least counteracted another lap there for him trying to make that move. But, you know, again, Lewis Hamilton is phenomenal at overtaking. We've seen him do it time and time again. Massa tries to come back, but it's pointless. Lewis has got the line, squeezes him back off the circuit again. He's entitled to do that. He's taken his race line. He's in front.
And then the move on Piquet, who was fueled through to the finish, well, that was inevitable, wasn't it?
Very much so, but you have to give Nelson Piquet 10 out of 10 today. Great race for him. Again, a little bit gracious in giving the room. You cannot afford to give Lewis Hamilton an inch, let alone a car width. He goes into the hairpin, very, very confident on the brakes. Just watch him take the speed in. He locks up a wheel, just takes the speed down, just gets into the apex cleanly, gets on the throttle, again pushes little Nelson Piquet out onto the left-hand side. Job done.
But well done, Nelson Piquet, on making it onto the podium for the first time. He's in the drivers' press conference with Felipe Massa, and most importantly, the winner of this German Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton.
Well, for Nelson again, I thought my work was done, and they said you still have to get past Nelson. I was thinking, okay, I'll just work my backside off, but that's fine. And again, he put on a really good battle, but again, it was very fair.
That was Lewis's reaction. You can hear more from that press conference on the ITV F1 website and in our highlights programme a little later this evening. We've learned a lot about Lewis today. What have we learned about Felipe Massa's potential title challenge?
I think that it's slipping away, and it's slipping away for Kimi Raikkonen as well. Ferrari must leave here very disheartened. McLaren, Mercedes-Benz are leaving here very happy indeed. And I have to say again for Lewis, outstanding job. Team put him under a bit of pressure there. He coped with it, and he came back and showed his class.
And looking ahead, 2 good circuits for McLaren and Hamilton now. Now, Hungary next, where he won, and Valencia, which is a kind of street circuit.
Yeah, I think looking very good for McLaren. I think looking very good for Lewis again. And as I say, he has to leave here thinking now that World Championship is in his grasp. And with performance like today, you've got to say he's going to make it count come the end of it.
And he leaves here absolutely full of self-belief, doesn't he?
I think that was self-belief from Silverstone that started all of this. And if he keeps building upon it, there's no stopping him.
Okay, Mark, thanks very much indeed. Quick reminder of the motorsport that's coming up on ITV over the course of the next couple of weeks. We got our highlights, of course, at about 10:45 tonight. But next Saturday, all the highlights of a fantastic Goodwood Festival of Speed. Not just Lewis Hamilton, that's ITV4, Saturday 4:45. Sunday, it's the touring cars from Alton Park. Live coverage from 12:30 on ITV4. And the following weekend, we're in Hungary. Formula One qualifying from Budapest at 12:10 on Saturday lunchtime. The Hungarian Grand Prix build-up from midday on Sunday, all on ITV1, with the GP2 support races also on ITV4. Well, Hungary last year was one of the most dramatic weekends of Lewis's Formula One career. That was until Silverstone last week, and Hockenheim here today. What happens next in this Formula One season? Join us in Budapest in 2 weeks' time. Bye-bye.